I think you ought to know. That men's radio. The place where men and women really speak. Oh man, what a show. It's men's radio. This crazy show is on 3 times a week. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, it won't cost you no dough. And radio, that's the place for you. With Russ Kane and Phil Dave.
And a very good afternoon. Mr. Kane, how are you?
Well, you know what? We had terrible technical problems on Wednesday. Absolutely shocking. So eventually we had to do the entire show in audio, which was fine. It worked out. We had fantastic guest, Tony Nicholson, talking about his brand new book about the history of quiz shows on TV. It was great. I'm going to get him back. And he wrote all the stuff for us at Capital for Dick Tarrant, Private Eye, etc. But I've plugged in. I've done all the stuff that you could think of. We're actually plugged into the Ethernet, etc. And it's still not very good, but we're going to do our best and plow ahead. Hello, Julie Voice. Hi, everyone. I'm in need of cheering up today. Oh, Julie, booked for November the 5th.
You've come to the wrong
somewhere
place.
In London. You've come to the wrong place here, babe. Yeah, absolutely. Now, there we go. I'm in need of, well, Julie, we're sorry to hear that. Robert Van Buren. Hi, Russ and Phil. I'm talking now because undoubtedly the signal's just going to go and Phil's going to run the whole show. What do we got here? Good afternoon.
It sound like
Phil.
a bad thing. Do you mind?
Sounds like what?
I said, you make it sound like a bad thing. Do you mind?
No, it's a wonderful thing. It'll be a wonderful thing, and then I'll just go out and go home.
You'll have lunch.
Oh my God! Still dealing with solicitors. Never. You're still dealing with.
Oh dear.
No, I won't. No. My intermittent fasting is going very. I won't eat till about 2:00 today, at all. Hello, Melanie Hutchins. Good afternoon, all. Let's go to New York, Philip, with your best pal, Elizabeth Green. Morning sunshine here. That's all right. Graham Package Ross going to be yeah, that's great. Thanks, Graham. Anyway, what's going on with you, young Phil?
Well, first and foremost, I will say that I find this an insight into the world in which we live, because before we went live just now, couple of minutes beforehand, poor Russ was letting the internet get the better of him. And it suddenly made me think, isn't it absolutely extraordinary how dependent we are on connectivity? And if that was, to whatever reason, just taken away from us, it completely screws our lives up.
Totally. Well, especially if you're trying to do a show, you've got fiber optic, you've got the best of you check the speeds, you do all the things you're supposed to do, and it still sounds like Norman effing Collier. What have we got? We've got Julie Voice saying, I will definitely, but when are tickets available? Not yet. We're sorting it out. The venue's done, everything's done, date's done. I can't start advertising the show yet, but it's being written as we speak. I got a question for you, Phil. And you may not want to answer this. I got a family wedding tomorrow, and it's sweet. It's my little cousin. I call him my little cousin. My little cousin Rory getting married to a very nice woman called Shannon. I think I've met her a couple of times. She's sweet, and they're doing the wedding themselves. So then they're not flush with money. You know, they
asked you to be Toastmaster.
Etc. So I said, God, no. Because they couldn't afford me. And I said, guys, and I meant it, don't invite me. Let me send a present. I'm happy to do that. I send you my love. I could take you out for dinner, whatever you want, but you don't have to pay for me to come. It's absolutely because I hate functions. Anyone who knows me, Phil loves them. Give Phil a function. He's a happy bunny. Give me a function.
Which reminds me, I'm very much looking forward to the wedding I'm going to tomorrow as well. So. Well, but I'm not going to that one. No, it's not your cousin Rory.
Anyway, it's out in the middle of nowhere. When I say the middle of nowhere, a freaking field somewhere I'm not joking, countryside. Oh, bring umbrellas. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so sent the present, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going. But I said, please don't invite me. There's no need. I won't take offense. I totally get it. It's expensive. Invite your pals. You don't need me there. No, we want you to come back. So I'm happy to do that. Now, I'm not mentioning any names. And Phil, you're going to be very quiet knowing you. But I've been invited to a wedding. Phil's oddly enough been invited to the wedding. People getting married, not for the first time, in their 50s. Comfortable. Very comfortable. Extremely comfortable. On the invitation, so it says, make a contribution to our honeymoon. And I'm going, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm absolutely not going to do that. If you're in your 50s, living a very nice life, don't come to me and say, make a contribution to my honeymoon. I'm sorry, I won't. I'll give a donation to a charity. You can name a charity and I'll give a donation, but I'm not doing that. If you can't afford to go on honeymoon, tough shit, don't go. That's it. I'd like to be driving an Aston Martin. I don't. There you go.
Okay, so I will answer this because it's strange you say that, because it's something that I've thought of for a very, very, very long time now. I actually think that we've moved on in the world from wedding gifts, and we're sort of in this transitional period of where some people are brazen enough to ask for money, and others just say, "Oh, I couldn't possibly. I don't want any presents." When deep down that actually means I'm spending a fortune. Buy me something or else.
Yes.
Now,
that's exactly what it means. I'm with you.
So here is my thinking behind it. Okay. Is I wholeheartedly believe that the way weddings should work, all functions should work, is that if people want to go to said functions, they almost buy tickets, if you like, to said functions. That contributes towards said function. Okay, forget presents. Presents are totally and utterly out the window.
Unless you're starting, unless you're really, really young, which they'd have a John
maybe, but realistically,
saucepans or something.
No, I know, but realistically, most people don't do that anymore. Most people cohabit before they get married now.
Yeah.
So a lot of people already have. No, I know, but most people have everything they need. They don't really need gifts from a wedding.
You don't need anything.
But what they do need more often than not is financial help. So I would have thought the obvious thing to do is, if functions happen moving forward, people buy, if you like, tickets. It costs per head to go, and that goes some way. No, but seriously, it goes some way towards.
Well, I'm not going to see Michael McIntyre, am I?
No, I know, but it goes some way towards helping. But exactly the same way. If you go to a supper quiz or something like that, you pay for a ticket. You actually go to an event.
I'd do that. But Phil, totally agree. If I get, I don't do charity stuff. I just won't. I've done so many years at Capital and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of events. Enough now. I won't go. And I'll send some money, but I'm not going to spend an evening of my life eating rubber chicken and pretending to have a nice time.
You haven't been to a charity function for a very long time, have you? Because I've got one coming up, and I tell you, I look forward to it each year because the food is top notch. But
is it? Oh, is it the Michelle Roux charity?
I won't say which event it is, but let's just say it takes place at Grosvenor House.
Yeah. Got some great comments coming in. Now, what I was going to say is this. If it's a charity and they say, hey, it's a supper quiz, and I actually like quizzes. I love quizzes. I'd go, yeah, and I'll give you, 20, 50 quid, whatever it is for the ticket, 25 quid. So I don't know what the hell it is, unless it's Variety Club. And it's £800 million a ticket, which is why I left after many years. I'll do that. It's a charity. That's fair enough. I'm not paying to go to your wedding. Sod off. I'm not doing it.
But that's fine.
That's because you want my company. This is ridiculous, though.
Obviously, totally and utterly up to you. But what I'm saying is that I would have thought that, given the exponential rising costs of weddings, which seem to be astronomical in this day and age, and let us not forget, people don't have anywhere near the same amount of spare cash that they once had from years ago when people got married. It was very different to sort of say, okay, well, we could save up for a couple of years and we'll probably have enough to pay for a wedding, which would have cost cheaper in the first place, and people had the option to save. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where you can't save money at all, and to top it all off, the cost of living is so astronomically expensive that people spend that much more on weddings in the first place. I can understand why people want financial help.
Just piss off and get married. Just stop. Grandpat makes up a very good point. And I will never do this again, ever. What about weddings that are abroad? What a nonsense. To a place where neither couple have an affinity. Bullshit, I know. And with it, it costs you a fortune to fly there and stay. I won't even bother to reply. I mean, what a cheek. Hi, we're getting married and good luck. Enjoy. I'm not coming.
And I have to say, I have been to several weddings abroad. Okay. And I understand why they do it. It's because
they're awful.
No, but I understand why they do it. It's because they're
Awful.
cheaper. I understand why people do it abroad. It's
Not
because it's
cheaper
cheaper.
for
But then
us
having said
because
that, it's not cheaper for the guests. No, I know it's not
I
cheaper for the
wouldn't-
guests.
I'm never
Which is
doing
why, as
that
a general rule of thumb, if ever I go to a wedding abroad, I will never buy a present as well. My presence is the present.
Is my
basically.
present, yeah. If you want me to come to your wedding abroad, you can buy me a flight and put me up in a nice hotel. I'm not coming. This is ridiculous. I've got limited funds, like everybody else these days. We have limited funds. I haven't been away for, I think, 5-6 years now. I'm not going to waste my money on a wedding that I want to leave after 20 minutes. I'm certainly
Fine,
not
but okay,
flying
so-
for hours to some. It's nuts. Just
No,
not
I know,
doing
but
it.
this is why I was saying to you that I think this whole idea of ticket system is actually quite a good idea, because let's be honest, weddings by and large can be quite feel good. Okay, I think that if you, depending on obviously how related you are to the person who's getting married or how close you are, they can be quite feel good events. You know, it's a good it's a good excuse to get together with people you might like. It's a good excuse to have a dance, maybe have some nice food, all of those sorts of things. I understand it. So if it was a situation where you could say, well, look, I tell you what, that we'll pay for the bulk of it, but it would cost £30 a head for everyone to go. I'm using it as an example. £30 a head for someone to go. That £30 gets you a really good night out. It helps the bride and bridegroom actually pay for the damn thing in the first place. And ultimately, it means that the function can still go ahead. Best of all, you don't have to worry about faffing about. Like, oh, God, what am I going to get them as a present? Where's the wedding list? Oh, all of the good presents are gone. Where all the cheap presents are gone. Oh, no, I really can't get a present.
You go to the in the old days, you'd go to the wedding list, which is a bloody cheek anyway. You go to the wedding list on usually John Lewis or somewhere, and you think, shit, right, I'm going to get the cheap. I don't really like them that much. I don't know why they've invited me. Get them a saucepan or something. Oh, bugger, they've all gone. No. What am I left with? Oh, a 52-inch Sony television. Well, you're not getting that. I mean, this is...
Sorry, Elizabeth says 30, more like 125. No, Elizabeth, you misunderstand me. I'm not saying for a second that it's as cheap as £30 a head for a wedding. I'm fully aware that it can very rarely be under £100. The reason why I say £30 a head is it's a reasonable amount of money to expect from somebody, but it actually ultimately helps to pay for the cost of the wedding. So if you think of it like that, let's say you have 100 guests, you get them all paying 30 quid each. Well, then suddenly that's a fair few £1,000s off the total of the wedding. Do you see what I mean? So I understand,
But Philip, why? And then I've got to ask your mum something. But why? Seriously, why? Yes, I am, by the way, wearing new glasses. Why? Because I sat on my pair of glasses, so I've no idea what they look like. I can just about see through them. It's okay.
It gives a new expression to looking up an old friend.
Yay! Wah, 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 wah. Why, if you can't afford it? Both my children.
Find my asses.
Grandpack. Both my children had lockdown weddings with 15 and 30 people respectively. The ceremony is on Zoom. Nice. Our friends and family still bought them presents, so the return on capital was great. Grandpa, yes, well done. I like that. If you can't afford
you got to be so grateful the arms weren't sticking out when you sat on your glasses.
Well, it would have been a thrill, and it would mean I could have my prostate checked at the same time, which would have been probably quite handy at the moment, way things are. Now, if you can't afford it, there's a million things I absolutely can't afford. You have no idea, but don't do it. You know, it's like one of my very, very best friends, Colin, the film producer who I see every Saturday with Ray Gelato for a cigar and coffee. He's in Paris for a month. He's there in Paris for a month. I am dying to go out and see him. He sends me pictures every day. I can't afford the train fare. It's insane. I can't justify the Eurostar fee to go over, spend the night in gay Paris, have coffee and some martinis with Colin, have a laugh, a few cigars, and come home. I am dying to do that. I can't justify the costs. I've got some expensive stuff coming up, which you'll find out about in a couple of months. But, right, I can't do it. So I don't
when
go
you
and
submit
say,
your tax return?
No. It's quite interesting, actually. It's something I've been planning for a year. It's this. I don't go and say, hey, everybody, I really want to go and see my friend Colin Vaines in Paris. Could you make a contribution? Of course you wouldn't. Why would you? You just say,
No,
Russ,
but
you
I
can't
think
afford
that's
it.
a
You're
little
not
bit
going.
different. No, that's a little bit different to a momentous occasion like getting married, which one would hope is only once in a lifetime. I know
Well,
circumstances
not
mean that
in
it can happen
every
more than
case,
once.
fella.
No, I just said I know circumstances mean that it could happen more than once. But let's be honest, at the time, if it's someone's first wedding, it's more often than not assumed that that will be their one and only wedding. That's not the reason why you go and get married, to think, oh, well, after a few years it'll be over, I can have another one in a couple of decades. It's not the reason people go into money. It's not the reason people go into marriage for.
Probably.
So I do understand. But look, I do believe that sort of that way, at least, at the very least, that a wedding can still happen. It can still be memorable for a happy couple, and it could be actually a good night out for those going to it. But at least that way is it sort of dodges this nonsense of needing presents, which, most be honest, most people don't need anyway.
Well, I'm not paying for the contribution to the honeymoon, because sort of, I'm just not doing it on principle. I will send a contribution to a charity of my choice. Look at this. This is very, he's being sarcastic, but it's, if you invite someone to a funeral, should you ask them to help pay for the expenses? Funerals are damn expensive. Really expensive. Right, then we've got this. A fat Scott. It costs a fortune. A year in the planning. Is Russ? No, don't be silly. I didn't get that. You could crowdfund what? Crowdfund my train fare. Tina Holt. Yeah, I could do. Tina Holt, explain something. How did you get train fare to Paris for 39 quid? Every time I've looked, it's like 100 and something. It's crazy.
I think it's because £39 went on the actual train fare and £200 went on the champagne. Is that right, Tina?
Oh, well, she's the champagne queen. I've never seen a picture of Tina Holt when she hasn't got like fabulous champagne. It's not. Fat Scotty, Scott Lyons, as he is a great contributor, and he was co-hosting the show with me a few weeks ago. Perhaps I'm old-fashioned, but don't we get married for love? No, we really don't. Or tax benefits. Christenings, weddings, and funerals, all about image. You don't need to spend a fortune to get married. Oh, some people do, clearly. Some booked a couple of months ago. Yeah, well, there you go. You're much smarter than me, Tina Holt. That's how you got. I don't know how you got that price. And I've looked at everything. I've even looked at all the budget airline price. I can't do it. That's it. Sorry, you got robbed again, Paul Claridge. Yeah, not going to put that up on the screen, but you can read it, everybody. Now, your mum, who is charming, posted a picture this week.
I have another mother?
No, it's the same mother I've met. Very nice woman. I mean, small, but very, very nice. Compact, but lovely. Charming, and most generous hostess. And she posted a picture of her with Philip Schofield.
No, she didn't.
What was he, in Brent Cross, wandering around, pretending no one would... She didn't post it. Was that not her? It looked like her.
No.
From the back.
That's the whole point. It wasn't her. It looked like her, and that's why she posted it. It wasn't her.
Oh, God, it's her doppelganger. It's her doppelganger then.
Well, from the back, who knows what it's like from the front.
God. That could be confusing. That could be very confusing for Ray. At least he'd have an excuse. Darling, I thought it was you. You could say that.
Well, quite.
Obviously, he wouldn't.
How do you think I felt? I thought I was the only Philip in her life.
But clearly not. Clearly not. She's spreading herself
just
a bit thin, your mum.
Just to clarify, it absolutely wasn't her. No idea who the woman in the photo was. In fact, if you even look in the bottom left corner, there's some sort of copyright image. But whatever it is, whoever it was, no idea.
Dave Sleep, greetings one and all. Hi, Dave. Dave is going to be my special guest on Monday. He's doing something. I'm just going to do a little preview, really very brief. And we touched on it on the show on Wednesday before the Gremlins just went insane with us. And he's trying to get the fact that you dial a 3-digit number and you get through to a mental health professional immediately. So imagine 999, or now you dial 111. And this stemmed from the fact that I brought up on Wednesday at my lunch. No, I brought up on Wednesday the fact that the police have said they are no longer coming out to calls regarding mental health, which is quite a thing. They won't come anymore, simply because they say they do not want to be in the position of having to diagnose. I have a certain sympathy for that. Where they will come out is if clearly the situation is going to be dangerous, if there's life in order. Here we go. Back to the wedding fiasco. Would you care to read this? Phil Dave of No Known Address.
You may want to spend Liberia's deficit to one up the celebrity folk, but you don't need to do it. Old-fashioned principles are dying a death. I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely ridiculous.
But therein lies the problem. Your nickname is Fat Scotty, and I would suggest that old-fashioned principles a couple of years back probably wouldn't have permitted me to even say that in jest.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Interesting how Lizzo's got away with it. That's all I'm going to say. Really fascinating.
Paul Claridge says,
yes,
if I'm invited to a wedding, I won't spend a fortune simply to go to the event, and I won't buy anything from the wedding gift list. I will buy you something I choose to buy. Well, in that case, you're not invited, Paul.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I tell you my view, and I'm sorry to say this. If you've got a swimming pool in your home, don't ask me to contribute to your honeymoon fund. Just don't. It's just rude. It's just crazy. Anyway, that's just my view. Anyway, the wedding tomorrow will be nice. They've done it themselves, and bless them. Why not? They're young and they are starting out, and he's my little cousin. I'm actually very fond of him. So that'll be nice.
You hide it so
well. How do you feel
well.
about this? No, I'm fond of him. But how do you feel about this, Phil? Invitation comes, ages. I mean, God, these people plan. I don't plan. I plan everything like 10 minutes before I do it. No partners allowed. You can't bring anybody. So if you're married to somebody, like I'm going down with my other cousin, and we're driving in one car, obviously, because it's the middle of freaking nowhere. Okay, fair enough. No partners allowed. So, really? I get it, but then don't invite me at all. I'd rather just send.
That is very. That is very, very.
I have
odd.
a problem with that. I have a problem.
That's very, very strange.
Very sorry. Can't bring anybody. Not just me. I mean, it's a universal blanket ban. You can't bring anybody. So I got to sit in the car for about 2.5 hours, which would be fun. Said no one ever. And then I'm on my own. It's like, really? Don't invite me. I won't be offended. I'm never offended by stuff like that. Ever, ever, ever. I'm not offended. I'd rather not go to events. I'd rather send you a gift. I'm happy to do that. Graham Pack is back again. Philip.
At our wedding nearly 39 years ago, congratulations, we had a wedding list at John Lewis.
Yep.
Friends said they didn't like what we put on the list, so they bought something else, which was a fondue set. Probably regifted.
Jesus. Fondue set. The biggest load of crap. Fondue sets. The world's worst, aren't they? If I'm sent a wedding list to buy from, says Scott Lyons up in Wolverhampton, I won't buy anything. If you don't specify anything or ask for gifts, then I will ask what they would find useful. If they're genuine, they'll be grateful.
Do you know what we haven't really touched upon, which we probably should do, given all of this wedding talk and given the nature of our...
You're getting married?
Our station. Is that... no, I'm most certainly not getting married.
Okay, very wise. You're missing nothing.
Isn't it amazing how something such as a wedding, which is supposed to be happy occasion, joyous and all of that, can cause the most incontrovertible amount of stress?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I know. Crazy. I sent a text to my little cousin. I call him my little cousin. And I sent a text to my little cousin. I said, I just want to check that my gift came through because the bank messed up, basically. They'd had trouble with PayPal and all this bollocks. And I got like, too busy, can't talk, speak to Shannon, sort of thing. And I'm going like, it's supposed to be your happy day. It's supposed to be a happy... You're not doing a production of, the Ring Cycle of the English National Opera. I mean, what the hell? What's it all about? What have we got? We got more from Fat Scotty. It's got
and well
no
done. 10
partners
points to
allowed.
anyone who says I got my who apparently I can't speak. Incontroversial, no such word. Incomprehensible. Sorry, I'm very tired. It's been a long day. Forgive me.
Go on. Oh, bless. I know, because you get up at 2:30 in the morning to do and you've worked since 2:30 in the morning, and then you come on the show, and I'm very grateful. And I don't know how you've still. Don't know how
Well, I got off with it today.
No
Actually,
partners
I didn't
allowed,
get up
says
at half
Scott
2
Ryan.
today.
I'd tell them.
I'd let them tell
You got up at what time?
Mrs.
Say that again.
No, I got off quite lightly this morning. I only got up at 6:30 today, so it was quite a line. I will let them tell Mrs.
In other words, he'd say no, he's not coming.
Ow. Oh, right.
Don't worry about it.
I don't get it.
Don't worry. Don't worry. He's basically saying if he was told there's no partners allowed, tell him to get lost.
He'd tell them to do one. Lightly. Oh, right. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
To go forth.
And Elizabeth Green in Manhattan says, "Oh, go forth and multiply." Elizabeth Green says, "Oh, I get it now. I was allowed 3 invites. Very old friend asked to come alone. Got stuck." Elizabeth, does anything normal ever happen to you? Is your life just an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm? I'm sure it is.
When you say a very old friend, were they geriatric?
Magnificent. And I don't. Yeah. You want to come to a wedding, Elizabeth? I'll bring my defibrillator. Jesus.
You'll enjoy the main course.
Strictly this year. There's at least 3 people.
You'll enjoy the main course. It's vitamins and applesauce. So.
Yes. Do you need the toilet? Do you want to go now? Christ.
Yeah. What's she chewing
all
on?
These strange. What?
They haven't brought the food out yet. Has she been eating the carnations again? You're right, Russell. I wouldn't mind. I didn't think it was that funny, to be honest. Chantal.
No, it's tickled. It's tickled me for a whole raft of reasons. All these strange wedding rules sounds like a Ponzi. It is like a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
Tell her not to sit like that.
That bugs me. Yeah. No, please. Knees together, love. Knees together. My brother-in-law lives in New York.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
The end of the tunnel.
My brother-in-law lives in New York, says Graham Pack. When he got married, they had their list at Bloomingdale's. Good Lord.
Oh, good luck with that.
They put generic, not specific items. We went to Zabar's. Zabar's, is it? Zabar's? I don't know how to say that. I don't know what that is. Went to Zabar's.
Zabar's. Stretcher or something.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. And bought them a salt and pepper set for $2. Graham, you
how's the relationship going, Graham?
Lost of the big spenders you are. Good Lord. God, gracious me.
Pack. Let's go out.
You're one to have on your team, aren't you? Gracious.
You like that. You should go on the buses here. They all have walkers. 2 women with
crisps.
Yeah, they have Walker's crisps on the bus. Yeah. Hey.
Next stop, please. Do not adjust your sets. That's Russell making a crisp impression.
Do me a favour, everybody. When you're on the tube, I know you wouldn't do it, and you want to listen to whatever the bloody hell you're listening to and watching, could you just put your earphones in? Because I have no interest in listening to a Punjabi soap opera or, Lithuanian drama. I don't want to hear it, okay? It's just a rap.
Or some diabolical music that you call music, which actually everyone else just calls an earache.
It's always just crap. Why is it? Here's a question for you. Why is it when some twat in a BMW with the windows down is playing music at the traffic lights or just going down the street and you think, Christ, my internal organs are being rearranged because of the bass notes? And it's always shit music. It's never something you want to hear. Ever. I want to get a 1,000-watt system and just play the theme tune for the Archers and just drive around everywhere. Just playing.
Well, I sort of do that. I don't have a 1,000-watt system, but what I do is if I'm next to someone who's playing some sort of ghastly earache, I will actually make a point of cranking up the volume pretty flipping loud just to drown them out, to make a point. And it's amazing, really, because you've sort of got this bizarre remix of Smack My Bitch Up versus Waterloo Sunset. So it's quite nice, really.
I don't mind the Prodigy. It's the
Beatboxing, that's quite impressive.
Sounds like a factory. It just sounds like you're working in a factory.
Well, it's hard to know, really, where the old exhaust pipe ends and the music begins, really.
And it's always got to be an exhaust pipe that is deafening, and it's usually in a Citroen Saxa. Won't be in something really good. It's going to be in some shit car with an exhaust pipe. You go, why are you drawing attention to your horrible car? It's just rubbish.
I mean, why on earth you would actually put something on a vehicle that makes it sound like the IBS equivalent of the motoring world? I've no idea. Chantal, for heaven's sake,
short. All you see is a baseball cap, and they're driving like this. You go, you're a freaking midget. Shut up.
Can't say that anymore.
Snow White's cottage now, or what are you doing? What's the matter with you? Hello, Shanters. How are you? Fantastic.
How are you?
You've gone off on a right tangent today. I can only apologise.
I know. I don't know what happened. It's all my fault. Chantal, your tan is looking great. Your tan is looking marvellous. I see you're back home.
I'm back home
again.
So nice. Honestly, there is nothing nicer than one's own bed and one's own pillows and one's own
here. Yes.
And you don't have to share with anybody.
Depends how the day.
I couldn't agree more. I have to tell you, and this is precisely why I take my own bed linen when I go abroad. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not sleeping in strange bed linen.
You freak.
No. I'm
absolutely proud of it. I couldn't care less. Can you imagine the nonsense that's gone on in some of those hotel bedrooms? Ugh, no, thank you very much.
Well, I can, and I'm jealous. I can.
My own bed linen, that'd be marvellous. Thanks.
No, I completely approve.
Your own.
Yes.
Hang on, Phil. We've got to. I'm sorry. You take sheets, bed sheets. You take duvets. What?
No, not duvet. That would. Excuse me. How weird are you? Why would I take my duvet with?
Well, I am quite weird. I never said I'm not. You've met me a thousand times.
The bed linens. No. The bed linen. I can't explain it. I'm quite. I know this comes as a shock to a lot of people. I'm quite a germaphobe, as Russell knew only too well during the pandemic, and as a result of it,
Almighty.
I do. I like the comfort of my own things. It's sort of like a safety blanket, really, if you think about it.
Yeah. I totally get that, Phil.
Hang on. This isn't good. Our chum, let's deal with this. I'm sorry this is a bit serious, but I think we should put it up. Forgive us for disappearing. This is from Lisa James. Well, guys, actually, you've got a more serious voice today than I have, Phil. Would you care to read this?
Blimey, that says something if I've got a more serious voice. But Lisa says, well, guys, I've been in hospital for over a month now and still can't feel my legs and still can't walk without aid. Still, they think it's either it's what's known as Guillain-Barré syndrome or a side effect from AstraZeneca jab. Yikes! The pain is horrific. It feels like electric shocks in my legs, and I can barely hold a knife or fork. Hope you are all well, Lisa. Oh my goodness me, Lisa! I'm so sorry to hear that.
You poor sausage.
Oh, Lisa, get well
Lisa,
soon.
that is horrible. That is. God, Lisa, for God's sake, that is absolutely awful. I have absolutely no idea. Lisa, I'm so sorry. Everybody at Men's Radio Station, all of us and all the backroom team wish you well and a speedy recovery. I wonder.
Oh, by the way, can I just say, I thought I've heard of Guillain-Barré syndrome, and apparently it is what I thought it was. It's basically where the immune system attacks your nerves.
It's not nice. Really not very nice.
Christ.
How awful.
I wonder in years to come, whether they will do ever a full investigation into the side effects of the stuff they pumped us full of. Because I don't think Lisa is far off the mark. I'm not saying that would have happened.
When you
There
say,
could be a
hang on,
million
hang on, hang
reasons
on.
why
When you
all
say not
sausage
far
tastes
off
so
the
well.
mark, we do need to be careful because there's no medical evidence to say that that's happened. You know, that could be an absolute
what I'm
shot in the
saying
dark.
to you is, yeah, shot in the arm usually. I just think it wasn't fully. Well, I'll never have another one. That's it. I will never have another one. I won't. And I was first in the queue. I was the first in the queue. I won't go. Won't do it. Asa Don Brown from New York State. Lisa James, my thoughts be with you. You make a full recovery. Absolutely right. Elizabeth Green, yes, they should. I know. And Graham Pack, we're off to Spain tomorrow. My wife's tempted to take her pillows with us. The ones there are rubbish. Yeah, that won't take up too much room in the hand luggage, will it? Pillows. Holy God. Good luck, Graham. And you've been married 39 years. Chantal, what have you
made
seen
your
that
bed,
you
now
think
lie
we
in it.
might like?
Well,
hang on. I know full
you
well
do the thing.
that Chantal won't hear this because for some reason she never does. But all the same,
but we'll hear it.
Let's do it anyway.
Well, why not? Actually, I say you say that, but it's been deleted, so we can't play it anyway. There you go. Never mind. Why has it been deleted?
You're kidding me. Who did that?
Who got rid of that?
Oh, that'll be
That's
me.
outrageous.
Well, it'll be
as long as I have
it'll be me by mistake.
Oh, now none of us will hear it. There
Neil.
you go.
I'm going to blame Neil Long.
Oh, well. All right, so there you go. We've got an alternative today.
We've got an alternative.
Okay, what is that? This one.
There we go. It's time to talk about television.
I don't know why I put that up there, but it amuses me nonetheless. Okay.
Well, we should have had an Aussie
Chantal
opener.
Rickards, OBE. Oh,
Right.
why is that?
Okay. We're going straight to Australia. And I was thinking about this program that I've watched. It's a comedy, by the way. I better say that absolutely up front. It is a comedy. And I think if you two had a love child, this script would be your love child. It's all the sort of crackle and fun and terrific one-liners that we get from you guys on a great day and on an even greater day. It's really funny. It's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's about people who, well, most particularly a woman who is in her probably late 50s, who's slightly inappropriate, but my God, she shoots from the lip. She's got what they call foot in mouth disease, which is wonderful, but it creates such perfect comedy. I've only seen the first episode, and I'm really hoping to God that the next 5 episodes after this are going to be great. It's something called Fisk, and it's just arrived on Netflix.
Oh, what? Sorry?
Fisk, F-I-S-K, Fisk.
So sorry, could you say that again?
Fisk. F-I-S-K.
F-I-S-K. It's the name of the character, okay? And she is called Helen Tudor Fisk. She's a lawyer, and she's lost her job because basically she shot her mouth off. She told her clients what she thought of them, very much in the way that this last half an hour has gone on the show, where no holds barred. We don't hold back on that.
Pretty much.
I'm very pleased to see. And this character is very.
Why should we?
She tells people what she really thinks, and she has an opinion, but she's so funny with it. She's absolutely brilliant. It's an actress I've never heard of before called Kitty Flanagan. She's also part of the writing team, and it's really worth watching. The reviews are wonderful, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. She's basically starting the show as this lawyer who's out of work, and then she goes to the grubbiest, most awful legal firm in Melbourne, which just does probate and wills, which she's even more inappropriate for, because she then has to deal with all these people who are consumed by grief. But it is it's actually laugh out loud funny. When I was watching it yesterday, I could literally hear my own laughter. Often when you watch funny things, you don't belly laugh. You don't actually hear your own laughter. And I suddenly realized I was listening to my own laughter, and I thought, this is such a good script. And
you suddenly thought, this is what other people have had to tolerate all these years.
Honestly, it's worth watching. I really hope you like it. If you don't like it, then comedy is not for you.
That's it.
And I don't watch a lot of comedy, but this is cracking.
No.
Anyway, it's called Fisk. It's on Netflix. Yeah.
I've come very late to the party. I've come late to as ever.
You would,
ridiculously
honestly,
late.
Like this.
Well, you live too flaming far away. That's why.
I do. Well, I do.
Well, you don't now, but you did.
I've only just got into The Witcher on Netflix.
Oh, I know. Well,
There've
yeah.
been
Well,
3
tell us. We were
seasons.
watching that last week.
Absolutely addicted to it. I think it's fantastic.
Oh.
But if you don't like sort of fantasy adventure, it ain't for you at all. But I'm like thinking, wow, this is just terrific. I think I touched very briefly on Touching Evil, which is
Oh,
from
yes, you did.
1997.
Yeah,
Again,
great script.
Nicola Walker and Robson Green, really, really good.
Mhm.
And the other one is Case Histories, if you like detective fiction, and that's with, oh God, and I've met him so many times. Plays the baddie in Harry Potter, handsome fellow.
Malfoy.
Help me
Malfoy
out.
was the baddie.
Yeah, it plays
Yeah,
Malfoy.
you're talking about Jason Isaacs.
Thank you, Jason Isaacs, one of the nicest people
Love
on the
Jason
planet.
Isaacs. Yes, he's a
He's
BAFTA
just
member in
such a
Los
nice
Angeles.
man. I'm sorry, my mind went blank. Graham Pack has already downloaded Fisk, ready for his holiday. Thanks, Chantal. That's great. And I started to watch last night. I don't know what to watch. I watched Dune. You can get it free now on Netflix or Amazon.
Dune the film.
Part 1, not Dune the film, not the David Lynch 1985 version, the new 2001 version. And I thought, 2.5 hours, and this is only part 1. I'll give it a go. Wasn't full of joy. Fabulous. Fantastic. Timothy
Chalamet. Was Jason Isaacs in that as well?
He might be, but he hasn't appeared yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Maybe it wasn't
but it's
him.
really
It's
good.
really good.
And Jason Momoa and what's her name? Rebecca Ferguson. Or is it Rebecca? Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson. But it's just terrific.
From X Factor.
Yeah, that's the one that we went on tour. We went on tour with her, by the way. I got the wrong one. Was it Sarah Ferguson? Used to be married to Prince Andrew. One of them.
No.
Anyway,
Rebecca Ferguson.
I'm going to shut up now.
She was in The Greatest Showman. She was the love interest in The Greatest Showman, if you remember that.
Rebecca Ferguson.
The film with Hugh Jackman. Anyway, that's who she is. She's Scandinavian,
South African, I believe.
Oh,
Swedish or South African.
Swedish.
One of the two. Oh, she could be Scandinavian. Oh, she's Swedish.
No, she is Swedish. No, she is Swedish. I've just looked it up. She is Swedish.
No, she's Swedish.
Phil's got Google.
Scott Lyons asked
you.
Well, that's just the way he sits. Chantal, have you seen Vanishing Act on ITVX, starring Wentworth Prison's Kate Atkinson?
It's not available anymore.
Never
what isn't available? Vanishing
I'm
Act.
joking. She is. Sake, keep up,
walked straight into that.
Honestly,
oh God, me too. Oh dear. All right.
God,
Chantal,
please honestly being so
please don't
we're coming to Vanishing Act
soon. It's going to be impossible.
No, we are definitely coming to Vanishing Act. So hold that thought. But I just want to go back to Nicola Walker because I found something for you, Russ, because the new series on Alibi has just started of Annika. Do you remember when we watched that?
Yes.
We all watched her series with Nicola Walker about a year ago. And it started out on Alibi. Then it went over to the BBC in the spring, I think. And everybody went, wow, this is great.
Yes,
but actually, if anybody had been following us on Men's Radio Station, they would have heard about it a year ago. And this is the second series. It's sort of, she's a detective in Scotland with the Marine Murder Squad or something like that, which is a bit crazy anyway, because how many murders are there, in water
do you know why? Do you know why?
Well, you better tell me. I'm not sure I do know.
I'll explain. I will. Okay. This started as a little 15-minute radio show on BBC 4 Extra called Annika, not Annika Rice, mercifully, and it's set in Norway. It's set in Norway, and she's part of the Oslo Boat Police, and because Norway is surrounded with a million little islands and stuff. And it's done as a monologue, but it's so brilliantly if I could write like that, I'd be a happy man. It's so brilliantly written and so wonderfully acted by the great Nicola Walker. You don't realize it's a monologue. You think there's other people there, and she just tells a 15-minute story that has a beginning, middle, and end of the murder. So of course they
Yeah.
didn't want to set it in Norway, so they set it in Scotland.
Right.
In the original series, she's got a son. Now she's got a daughter,
Correct.
etc. That's why they've just transposed it from Norway to Scotland. That's basically it.
Okay. Well, the
And she breaks
stories.
the fourth wall, doesn't she?
She
She
does
breaks the
break
fourth
the
wall.
fourth wall. And a lot of people don't like that. I used to hate it in Sex and the City, but it was absolutely part of the whole Carrie Bradshaw thing that she would talk to the camera and she would tell you about her life in New York. And I think that was probably the first time I was really totally aware of it. But it works.
Oh no, I tell you where I remember first time of fourth wall, and I know Chantal, you've seen this, so you must have seen this as well.
Okay.
It may be not so much in a drama, but in comedy, Rowan Atkinson in The Thin Blue Line, when he used to speak down the camera in his monologues at the start of the show.
Really?
I
I
never
don't
saw
remember
that series.
Oh, I beg
remember
your
that.
pardon. I'm sorry. I thought you had. Yeah, right at the start of the second series of The Thin Blue Line, he always used to look straight down the camera and say, he always used to start off his catchphrase was, "Good evening, everybody," and then would start sort of talking to the audience.
Well, that's interesting. Funnily
It
enough,
was a
that made me
sweet
think,
series. That was a sweet series.
Russ, did Dixon of Dock Green, and this is very weird, and my brain may be going to a very odd space. Did he break the
Evening
fourth
all.
wall?
Yes, because
did
what he
break
did,
the
the
fourth
show
wall,
would start
didn't
with, he'd go like this, and that's because I'm 3,000 years old. He goes, "Evening all. Little Phil Dave was a bit of a rascal, but when things got bigger than him just nicking a bite from the police station, it was time for me to step in." He'd do like that. And that was the big drama on Dixon and Dock Green.
It was, so I must have been aware of it, but
Yeah.
not understood what breaking the fourth wall meant.
But how? Because
anyway,
you're 35. It's not possible. Anyway, there you go.
I'm
Do
not
you
that
know when Dixon of Dock Green started?
Do I know when it started?
I'm going to put it in
Probably
the early 50s.
58?
Early 50s. No, late 40s. Late 40s.
58.
55, apparently it started,
Okay.
and ran
Wow.
until
I was only
1976. So it
30
had
then.
good innings.
Wow.
Yeah, it did.
That was good.
Yeah. He was the oldest person on the police force, Jack Warner. Jack Warner was actually, I only knew him from that, but when you see him in the 1940s and early 1950s films, a very good actor. Huge star. Huge star. Forgotten now,
Amazing.
but huge star then. Anyway, what else? What else?
Well,
have
there
you
we
seen?
are, breaking the fourth wall. So Annika is on Alibi and presumably will also transfer to the BBC when they're ready to play out the second series. But if you want to go back to the first
Can I
series,
ask a question?
get it on the BBC.
Can I ask a question? How does that work? Does Alibi, I'm just curious. It's made by a production company who then flog it to Alibi. They show it first and then the BBC buys it? Or what's the
BBC has
mechanics of that?
shares in Alibi, doesn't it? It's all part of the UK TV network, I thought.
Correct. So it will have been commissioned by Alibi. I used to work for UK TV. Which was part of and I was on the BBC staff. So anybody who handled editorial, i.e. the television programs, had to be on the BBC staff. The rest of the company was a company called Flextech, and it was a JV, a joint venture between the two companies. But so Alibi, I think, still exists as part of the UK TV network. The ownership has changed, and I can't remember how it's changed. But it's not. Flextech is no longer the owner of it. It was Virgin for a while. And anyway, it's irrelevant and nobody's interested. But
it's a
basically,
terrific channel. I love the
first
Alibi.
dibs.
Alibi channel is my favorite channel. I love Alibi. Great stuff.
Well, it used to be UK TV
Really
drama, Alibi, I think.
Oh,
Something like
all right.
that.
I didn't know that. I can't keep up with this.
Yeah. So there were all those
Okey
channels
doke.
called UK TV Style, UK TV Gold, UK TV Drama,
Yes.
Dave. They were all part of that group
Yes.
of channels.
Well, Dave was the beginning of the end of the UK TV branding, if I'm not mistaken. Dave was the first name they came out with without calling it UK TV Dave. Because I think, wasn't Dave UK TV G2 before it launched?
Oh my God! Now you're even testing me. I was there at the time.
I think Dave was UK TV G2.
Yeah.
And then obviously Gold was UK TV Gold. It's the only one I think that's kept its original name.
Maybe. I should know, and I don't. Anyway,
Go.
It's very
Alibi.
strange what they did, but anyway.
I've never heard of it.
If you haven't got the Alibi channel, you can find the first series of Annika on the BBC, and then wait for the second series. So there we go. It's worth watching.
So they should have called it Muck Annika. Scott Lyons is right. Scott Lyons is right. Says all Scottish police dramas sound like Taggart. There's been a murder.
Oh, I love Taggart.
They're all the same. There's been a murder.
Oh, he was lovely.
I know this is going to sound slightly pathetic, but it has to be said that's precisely why I can't watch Scottish detectives, because I can't bear, with an absolute passion, I can't bear the way they say the word murder. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It strings it out almost as long as the bloody program. Like, why would you say it in such a weird way? Oh, he's gone again. What's wrong with you? Oh, he's dropped off. We're so sorry. Let's carry on regardless, shall we? Oh, here he is. There he goes. How nice of you to pop in. Are you all right?
There we go. No.
There is.
Well, yes. I don't know what happened.
Definitely. There's something weird going on because there's a sound and vision delay on my
Gremlin.
feed. Of Russ. Not of you, Phil, but of Russ.
No, I'll tell you why. It's because I have a quality internet connection.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll save up and we'll buy Russ a decent internet.
No. Based on the start of the show, he doesn't want contributions. Couldn't possibly have contributions. We'll have a whip round. We'll get you a decent internet connection, shall we? Would you like a dongle?
I hate you. I've got.
I think it's a shame you hate me because, to be honest with you, I'm rather fond of me.
Yeah.
I think
Alibi is owned by the BBC studios who commission the programs. Oh God.
Seriously, in your downtime, you should write a sitcom together.
Could you imagine? What on earth would you call it?
I will be coming to you in your role of producer.
Can you imagine? Kane and Not Able.
Chantal, Rickards, OBE, in your role of producer.
We need a nice Warren Mitchell, comeback series.
You could call it Bring Back the Kane.
Oh dear. He's gone again.
Anyway,
he's off.
I'm going to tell you this. I want to see what Chantal thinks.
He does amuse himself, and that's the main thing.
Which is, I'm doing one performance, November 5th. My new show is called Unwise but Not Illegal.
Oh,
I'll leave it
now that's controversial. That's very controversial. Okay.
Do you think?
Well,
is it based on the life and works of certain television presenters?
I was going to say I could give you a few stories.
No, not at all. Oh no, that we were going to do that. I can tell you now. No, this is my stand-up. I've called the stand-up show instead of Caned Laughter this time around. I've called it Unwise but Not Illegal.
Right.
As it so happens, I can now tell you that I was writing a musical about the whole brouhaha with none less than Julie Burchill.
Oh, what were you going to call it? Hue and By?
We were too busy to actually work on the project. But Julie Burchill and I had agreed to. No, we had another name for it. I can't remember what it was going to be called. But I'm a huge Julie Burchill fan, and
we started a great writer
not long ago, and we were going to. Yeah, she
did. You call it Coming to a Screen Near You?
Coming up. We called it I'm going to slap you so hard next time I see you, which is strange.
I'm not laughing.
In your parents' home.
No, definitely don't. It encourages me. You mustn't do that.
Oh dear. Well,
anyway,
November
it was
the 5th,
a nice idea when it lasted.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I'm coming. Have you made an announcement about November 5th?
Anyway,
you just made it when you're listening.
But where?
What?
I'm joking. He just made it just now.
Go on. Off you go. What have you? I can't tell you. Stop it. Right. What's next?
Okay.
What's next?
It's a new drama called Painkiller. Just in case you haven't had enough of the whole story The true life story about OxyContin, the painkiller drug that was introduced by the Sackler family under Purdue Pharmaceutical.
Ooh, yes.
There was a very good drama a couple of years ago called Dope Sick. If you want another drama that features more importantly around the story of the family and the bad dealings of the family and how very involved they were in promoting this drug to Americans, which was supposed to be the most effective painkiller. In fact, it turned out to be massively addictive.
Oxycontin?
OxyContin.
Oxycontin?
Which OxyContin, which is an oxycodone, which is made up of all sorts of heroin derivatives, basically. So it's not good stuff. And they managed to persuade the American public that it wasn't addictive, when in fact it was as addictive as heroin because it's heroin based. It's a great drama. It's a brand new drama with Matthew Broderick playing the part of Richard Sackler, who's the bad guy in the family, who is basically a narcissist and really behind it all. He knew exactly what was going on. Wow. And then they've got a very good American actress called Uzo Aduba, who plays part of the Virginia legal system that is trying to bring them down. And actually a lot hangs around her characterization. But it's really interesting. It's quite an angry drama. I mean, it's good that it's angry, but each individual episode starts with a family member talking to camera, a real life family member talking to camera saying, when you're watching this, please think about my child. And they tell the story of their child, and then you go into the drama. So I've never seen that done before in that way. And it's very, very powerful because even though it's a drama that you're watching and you know that these are actors and all the rest of it, you are constantly drawn back to this idea that it was real, that real people died. It was an absolute appalling tragedy. So that it's called Painkiller. It's out now. It started on Netflix 2 or 3 days ago, I think. The first 2 episodes are good. There are a couple of sort of weird little tricks that they play in that I don't like. I quite like my drama quite straight, but it's worth watching, and the script is good and the acting's great. Yeah. So,
Matthew Broderick, excellent. He's in what's he in? Oppenheimer. He's in that as well.
Is he? I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it either. It's the thought of certainly 3 hours in the cinema doesn't throw me too much, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Well, take a snack. Take a snack.
Any quick fire suggestions?
Quick fire. I was going to mention Vanishing Act because somebody had brought it up earlier on. I did watch it. And if you say the joke again, I will get it and laugh at it this time. ITV, it's a 2-parter, real life crime about a woman who swindled $20 million out of family and friends by a Ponzi scheme. We've mentioned Ponzi schemes before. That basically taking all their money, saying that she was investing it and not investing it. Where it starts is you see a foot in a shoe floating in the water. And the real story is that about 3 months after she died, her foot was found in a trainer. Well, we think she died. We don't quite know what happened, but she disappeared 3 days after the Security Commission in Australia raided her house. And that's what the story's about. So it's a 2-parter. If you like that true crime drama stuff, it's on ITV at the moment, on ITVX, and it's worth watching. It's an interesting story. When you think all of that for 20 million, you know, it's good. It's not bad. It's not bad. She's not a likable character. We're not supposed to like her.
And the opening scene, of course, is an indication that the actual drama production cost an arm and a leg.
Well, in this case, it definitely cost a leg. Definitely. So there you go.
We have the sickest audience on the planet. Something's afoot and it's not 12 inches. But Graham
That's
Pack
better.
with the
I like
Sackler
that.
thing goes, who's the heroine in it? Graham. Even I wouldn't do that gag. Even I wouldn't go there.
Well, there are all sorts of theories about whether the foot was taken from a live body or anyway. Watch it and see what you think.
And can I just say, we didn't have it at the start, but we've got it at the end. So just before we let you go, you'll be delighted to hear it's been restored. Sanity is back. The Ravens return to the tower. Here we are.
I still got it.
There you go. So just in case you were missing your fix of We Love TV, which Chantal misses every week, apparently, for some inexplicable reason. Could you hear the bagpipes before?
I could hear the bagpipes.
The bagpipes. You couldn't hear We Love TV. How extraordinary. Gracious
Wow,
me.
weird.
Anyway,
But
guys, have a
that
wonderful
is
weekend.
West
By the
London
By the way,
for you.
just can I just say,
And you
with
have a
5
nice
seconds
weekend.
to go, look out on Challenge TV, because they're bringing back reruns of Through the Keyhole. Just saying.
Say, oh, good
Absolutely.
to know. I'll definitely watch those. For that.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
that's it.
excellent.
Have a good
Bye-bye,
weekend. He's back
everybody.
on
We'll be
Monday at
back.
midday.
That's it.
Bye.
Bye, guys.